Lion Pine Beats production.
The Signal 27 Show.
The best live stream podcast in the city.
What's going on, y'all? This is the Signal 27 Show. Yeah, now just make sure that the mic was on. How y'all doing? Yo, this is the Signal 27 Show. We are back. This week is in the community. As you know, every Thursday we like to make sure that we spotlight what's going on in the community, spotlight individuals that are doing great things in the community. And this week we have none other than the great Christian comedian FunnyBone in the house with us. How you doing today, FunnyBone?
Team 4, what's happening? What's happening, man? How you?
Oh, doing just fine. And yourself?
Man, I'm hanging on in there.
That's right. That's right. So for all y'all that don't know, FunnyBone has been a mentor to me when it comes to this comedy business. You know what I mean? So a lot of things that I might have questions about, even when I stumble and fall, he's there to help me out, pick me up, at least point me in the right direction. You know what I mean? And as a brother that know how to pull your coattails without pulling your coattails, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? So what I want to know, though, is like, right now we have a show coming up. So you're really big in the comedy business. Can you give us some insight about like your beginnings, how you got started and things like that?
Absolutely, man. I tell you, it was crazy because, first of all, man, I want to tell you I'm proud of you for what you're doing, man. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Oh, guys who I was able to talk to when you guys got started and see you guys do great things, man. I'm proud of you guys. Man, I actually got started, honestly. I was always a class clown, man. I always got in trouble for making people laugh. And it was crazy because, you know, I used to tell jokes a long time ago. I went to the principal office, and now I can tell jokes and go to the bank. So it's a little bit different now.
Yeah. That's what we are trying to do.
But it's a little bit different now, man. But I always had the itch to make people laugh. I wanted to, you know, be able to make people smile. And when I first got started, and a lot of people don't know, who really don't know comedy too much, about a comedy school. So I went into Comedy Zone out in Mandarin Comedy School. The owner at that time was Fred Posen. And I enrolled in comedy school and showed me the ropes of how to make jokes and different things like that. And it's not just you just go on stage and make people laugh. You have to study your craft and know how to take out for joke and definitely know how to improv and things like that. So got started from there. went by a name of Southpaw. That was my first name, man. Southpaw, because I'm left-handed and didn't understand that name, but I used it. Didn't understand I'm left-handed. Called me Southpaw. So one day I was getting my haircut, man, and you know, for some reason, when you go to the barber shop, a lot of times, you know, your barber gonna name you.
Right.
And so my barber just called me FunnyBone. And Master Bo Barbershop right by Reebok. He named it FunnyBone. And from then, man, I was like, you know what? I like that name, FunnyBone. So I took off with it, man, and kept rolling.
Wow, that's funny. I kind of got a similar story because I bombed at a church. And Osric could tell you because so Osric, I was at I can't think of the young ladies the church that was over there on the west side. And she asked me to do, because I was in a play with her, so she asked me to do some comedy. I was right in between Osric and AJ. So I know AJ. AJ was there when I bombed too. So, but they had Osric go ahead of me, and they have AJ come behind, so they can completely forget who I was. You know what I mean? But Osric was like, man, you got a good setup, but you just didn't work your jokes properly. And then he sent me to the comedy school at the Comedy Zone. Okay. And Fred was there too. And then I got picked up there. And ever since then, I've been rocking since then, but I only went as Leroy. And then I end up doing a joke about me being like, I don't know no other Leroys. Right. And then what happened is that Chocolate was there. And she was like, yeah, that should be your stage name, the last Leroy, because I really don't know no other Leroys. And I was like, okay, I kind of like that. It kind of had a good ring to it. You know what I mean? So that's how I was like, wow, we kind of got the same kind of story similar, except for I don't know if you ever bombed in front of a church crowd. Oh, before. Man, I actually got booed before, and let me tell you something. That's the best thing honestly is to get booed if you're a comedian, because I got booed at the Ritz Theater, man, a long time ago, man. It was funny because of a lot of times, a lot of comics, man, and got booed before. And truthfully, it kind of makes you humble, because I remember when I first started doing comedy, I was never nervous. Right. I just get on stage, man, I was never nervous. And the comic cat said, that's the worst thing, to not be nervous, because that means that you think you got it all together. And so I never was nervous. So I get on stage at the Ritz, man, and I wasn't nervous, and I messed up. And they booed me off the stage, man. I was trying my hardest, man, to try to hang in there, man, and they just kept booing me, man. And the funny part about it, everybody booed me. So I had left and went home. So I left Tanya there. And the crazy part about it, by the time she got home, I said, when they was booing me, what was you doing? She was like, well, I booed you too. I mean, I didn't want to know I was your wife. So she said, I booed you too. But that actually helped me out, man. And now when I do shows, I'm nervous. I'm nervous because I want to do good. You know what I mean? Right. So I'm nervous because of the simple fact I want to do good, and not saying this because I'm in this class of being a comedian, but being a comic is complicated, because what may work today may not work tomorrow. True. You know what I'm saying? You know, versus if you a singer, everybody know the song you gonna sing. They sing it with you the whole nine. But being a comedian, you can say the same set today in a crowd going crazy, and tomorrow they like, man, we don't understand what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's one of those crafts, man, that you actually have to be nervous, because you don't really know how it's gonna turn out. You know what I mean? You don't know. So it take a lot of craft, man, to actually be a comedian, man, for real. So it helps me out a lot. That'll work. And Sharonda Lynn, she says, hey, FunnyBone.
Tier
and Osric said he also got booed at the Ritz too. You know, so that's funny. Yeah, man. Yeah, I look up to both of them. I look up to Sharonda because she's an outstanding person. What she do. And of course, Osric was there when I got booed at the church. I just don't know the name of the church, Osric. So if you know the name of the church that we was at, where I got not necessarily booed. It was just like they were very quiet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that kind of spooked me there. But ever since then, I've been on and popping. I'm not going to knock on anything. You know, I haven't had any bad performances. I made some mistakes though. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man. Tenfold, man.
Now we have a show that's coming up called The Getaway. Now you do this show. Usually it's an annual show once a year that you do with the FunnyBone Experience. Yeah. So what's this particular show geared behind? What's motivating you to do this particular show?
Honestly, man, it's something I do every single year. You know, I bring comics together. Osric hit the stage with us a couple times. A lot of people, of course, yourself, Train rode with us, actually helped. Remember when he actually got started in a talent show we had, trying to find a comic. And Train had actually won it. I remember he came by the name of Adrian, and my main man, Cousin Wayne, actually Gabriel named Train. So a lot of you guys was able to roll with me every year to actually bring comedy, clean comedy, to Jacksonville. Because a lot of us, we do private engagements. So a lot of our friends and families cannot see us perform, because it's a private engagement. Like you can't be doing a birthday party for somebody and you bring your cousin them and all them to come watch you perform and they ain't even part of the person's family. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, they trying to eat and everything and all that. And so it was something that, we all can get together, and bring our friends and family together and we just rock the house. So I've been doing this thing, man. Honestly, it's been going on, I want to say like between 10 or 11 years, man. So we've been really hitting it like that. So it's been real good. Real good, man.
Well, I definitely want to give, I want to definitely appreciate you while you're here and just say thank you for the opportunity, because you're not just allowing people, you're not putting together a show for comics to get on. You actually also pass work to other comics, and a lot of comics is not doing that. I can at least say, yo, if anything, I know sometime down the line I'm gonna get a call from FunnyBone, like, listen, dog, can you do this?
Absolutely, that's what it's about.
And I want to appreciate that, because a lot of comics is not putting money in other comics'
and
pockets.
And that's the thing I tell all the ones, everybody who I connected with, that you have to be able to duplicate yourself. And that's the thing right there, that in business, sometimes, we get to a point, instead of us trying to help complete each other, we are competing against each other in our own right. And it's enough work for all of us to get work. And so my main thing, honestly, for those who really know me, I really don't get too excited about me doing shows. I actually love helping others, man. Get out there, and do some work and things like that. So I always tell everybody, man, to try to duplicate duplicate yourself, spread the love out there. And that's what it's about, man. And a lot of times people talk about me and my achievements of doing comedy. I like talking about people who I actually helped out. That's how I talk about me. Okay. When I'm able to talk about names of different people, whatever, who I actually helped, who I actually, seen them as they got started doing this thing. And so that's really what it's about.
Okay. My next question is going to be, with your experience going on within the business of comedy. There's a lot of individuals who are funny, like myself, who really have not grasped the actual business of comedy. I talked to there's a comedian, Spunky, and Spunky was giving me some insight about, like, he one of the hardest comedians that's like going places and putting in work. Like, man, I'm a dog. I go at it. I call you and I'm gonna call you again in another day if you got anything. And I just haven't grasped that concept of putting in so much work behind the scenes. Right. So is that something that you can relate to, as far as having to be a dog when it comes to trying to get on these stages?
Absolutely, man. One of the main things that I do, man, honestly, is I start out with outreach. And the reason why I say outreach and doing this is I start out with supporting people.
Okay.
And that's one of the main things that I started out doing. A lot of my engagements is actually at churches. So a lot of times the best time people can see you is when you're not on the program.
Okay.
So I'm there supporting, and, so they seeing me support, and I'm not there only because I want you to book me. I'm here because I want to support you, but at the same time, free things ain't free. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to support you. So spread the love bite to me. So I actually started out doing that because, my dad, he on the mortuary, Harris Mortuary. So he actually taught me to actually start out that way. Anytime when you want to excel in anything, you have to be able to support people. Okay. And a lot of us, even in the comedy business, man, I tell people all the times, if you have a show, if I can't be there, I will send my money. And that's what we have to do with each other, to support one another. And when we start supporting, then that's when everything started coming back to you. And that's what I started out doing, man. I really started out just supporting different churches and people and things like that, man. And next thing you know it just started hitting. And I was like, wow, being able to end up doing 80, 90 shows a year, man, and just constantly getting it. But a lot of it came from just pouring inside other people first, because a lot of times we have our hands out like cups, you know what I'm saying? Instead of us going out lending hands, we want everybody to give us a hand. Right. So that's one of the main things I did.
Okay, I think that's kind of the goal that I have for this podcast. I can't be there at every event, but I can offer a platform for you to talk about your
Right,
event.
right.
And I'm not in a financial situation where I'm able to always give financially, but I can give you a platform to be able to voice your
Absolutely,
opinion on.
absolutely.
That way I can kind of do the same kind of outreach. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That's a good way of me looking at it.
Oh, yeah.
In the aspect of the Signal 27 show in the community. Because once it gets out there and people know that I'm trying to support them any way that I can, then maybe I'll come back full circle.
Yeah, and another thing too, us being local comics too, it's like a fraternity. It's like this right here. What I always tell everybody is that, listen, if somebody call you and you booked already, spread the love, give it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? And I tell everybody that who knows me. You know, of course, I done had people call you and things like that to just let you know, Doc, here's the thing. If I'm booked and somebody called me, I'm going to refer them out to others who I know. And that's the thing, you know, where, you know, we as a unit have to keep doing. We don't have to keep trying to bring people from out of town to our own city to rock the house, dog. We got enough of us to get the job done right here. You know, so that's what I be saying. You know, when we quit flying folk in, man, when you know we got people right here, come on, y'all already know how we do it, man. You know, the straight get work done. So that's what I always tell people all the time, man. It's just spread the love. Don't keep it to yourself.
Right. I definitely appreciate that. Continue to spread the love.
Yeah, I think I just sent you something for New Year's, right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, okay.
And they enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, they did. Yep. They told me they enjoyed themselves and they coming to our show.
So moving to the next topic of discussion, it's more of a personal question. I know some things have been happening with us being married men.
Right.
When things come up against your marriage,
Right.
How do you take it as a man? Can you give us some insight? If you want to go ahead and share exactly what might have been going on and where it's leading you to, and give us some insight about how you're taking that in.
Absolutely. Honestly, you know, being married is, you know, by itself, it's a job, you know, by itself.
Right.
But it's a lot of things too that us as men, that a lot of us never really been through, and that's knowing how to nourish. You know, of course, people who know Tanya know that Tanya actually got ill some years back, and as a man, dude, I've been able to learn how to provide and to protect us as men. We never was really taught to how to nourish. And so that was hard for me, because it was something that I never did before, something I never seen before. Because if you look at me and dude, we talking about how to get different businesses, real estate, sheetrock, or anything like concrete business. But you know, we always talk about how to provide, but there's very few men talking about how to nourish if need be. And we put we put the women inside a bad position, because a lot of wives, man, they're afraid to get sick, because they feel inside of them that if I get sick, my old man gone. You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna know what to do. So this was something that I took to heart, and I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It was real hard, real hard to actually learn that particular trait on how to nourish. But being that I understood the assignment, man, it was like God was hitting me with it, man, to go ahead and start writing about it, because it's definitely what us men need, you know.
Right. I know when you speak of if your wife goes down or if your wife gets sick, I can't think about that particular situation because I haven't been in that situation, right? But it's good to know that we take vows, and you never expect for any of those vows to like come up, especially the worst kinds.
Absolutely.
When the pastors say for good times and bad times, for sickness and health till death do us part, we don't really listen to the bad parts that could happen. You know what I mean? We only hear about the good things that's going to happen through the good times. But when those bad times come up within your marriage, we kind of get shook and we get rocked by
Absolutely. And it's one of those things that I even talk about a lot, now being able to get speaking engagements on trying to help men out with this thing, that, you know, a lot of us, you know, we we're not really prepared for the other side. It's almost like, we prepared for Disney World, but we ain't ready for the haunted house.
Right.
And, but in the haunted house is where sickness is at. In the haunted house is where the worst is at. In the haunted house is where poor is located. And a lot of times, we're not prepared for it. So when we get into the haunted house and different things happen, like a sickness and things like that, we don't really know how to handle it because we're not really prepared for it. Right. And as a man, I can tell you right now, Doc, I knew how to make money. I knew how to work overtime at my job and things like that. But I knew it said sickness. I just thought that God wasn't talking about me. I thought he was talking about one of y'all, somebody else. He just tripping. He ain't talking about the Harris family. So it's definitely something, and it actually taught me a lot. It showed me one of the things I'll question anybody on this question is, what can losing teach you that winning cannot? And a lot of people, you don't really learn a lot of things on winning, on gaining things.
Right.
You don't really learn a lot on winning. If you look at, and you're finna knock him off too much, Cam Newton used to win, that he never really learned how to taste defeat, because how he celebrated too openly, like how he ran around like Superman. But then when you saw him lose the Super Bowl, you saw how he handled that defeat terribly. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when a person over celebrate, that tells you that they never really taste defeat before. Because when you're able to taste defeat, it showed you to celebrate, but do it humbly. Right. And that's why when people learn about FunnyBone, man, y'all know me, y'all don't brag, y'all don't boast, but I'm that dude. Now, everybody know that, that's real. But I'm not going to brag on myself, man. That's not who I am, because I learned how it is to be defeated. I learned how it is to go through things. So it helps you when you on the other side to celebrate. It helps you just score your touchdown and find a referee and give him the ball.
That's it. All right. I like that. That's a good analogy. When you mentioned quarterbacks and things like that, you can kind of see about how, like Tom Brady, he lost against the Giants. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I never really saw him any different from his losses to his wins.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it makes sense that if you're going to have, you don't want to have peaks and valleys so deep and so high. You want to kind of be, if you're going to have a hard time, you want to be able to go ahead and ride that coaster out and keep it smooth,
Absolutely.
Now, I can't really ever think about any situations where me and Keita, we had, where she might have gone down, only with this particular situation that we're in now. And I don't think she minds me sharing too much of it, but it wasn't in reference to her health. It was reference to financial.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
and a lot of things that's going on within our community, they say that most women, they initiate divorce, and it's about 80% of it is because of finances.
Right.
You know what I mean? But me being the guy that I am, I'm always going to try to find a way, even when it's come to donating plasma. I've done that before too. So it don't make a difference. I've drove for Gator City Taxi. I donated plasma. I'm going to make sure that my wife and she's asked me to do one thing, just make sure that you don't, that I don't go hungry. I don't want to be hungry no more. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but in this particular situation here, I was like, listen, stand on it. Let's work with this together.
Right.
Some things going on with your job. Leave that alone. Allow God to handle that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, you stated that with the things that was going on with your wife, you decided to write a book. Where are you in the process of that?
Well, I'm actually inside the beginning stages. I actually have a different company that I really want to work with doing it. I think that it's very much needed. It's in the process now, man, of me laying down everything. I got everything set up pretty much on which route I want to go with it. I know for sure that it's something that's needed, especially for us men. Dude, this is me just being honest as a man. I urge any man right now, if you was to ask a man a question, what medicines do your wife take? A lot of men probably wouldn't know. If you ask a man right now, what do you do if she get real sick? A lot of men wouldn't really know, because we wasn't really taught that. On top of that, okay, then the Bible also say death do you part, which means, have you ever talked to your spouse about, suppose you pass away, you got to set up, And these are things that us as men now, we're not talking about, to a point that, God forbid, if something happened to me, that's my last thank you to my family is setting them up.
Right.
But at the same time, a lot of us men, these things we don't talk about, because we live for right now. And the most perfect thing a man can do is to learn the other side. Because if we gonna get the wives to learn how to provide too, because women working now.
True. Yes,
which means that, we got to help them out and learn how to nurture if need be.
Right.
And that's something right there that a lot of us, me and Doc, we just wasn't really taught that.
Wow. You're absolutely right. Now that I think about it, the only thing I know, my wife takes some, she takes some gummies.
Oh, wait. He done put it out.
She takes some gummies and some, some prenatal medicine.
But you know what? And it's funny, man, because I was thinking about it before, that if you think about the women, I remember when Tanya was pregnant with my oldest son, Al, and man, she was reading him a book and she was pregnant with him. And I said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm reading our son a book. And she said, I'm going to love him with everything inside of me. I said, that's cool. And she said, aren't you going to love him like that? I was like, I don't even know him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I never met the dude yet. I mean, let me get a relationship with him and take him out to eat a couple times or something. But it's like women, they got it in them, right? Mm-hmm. To know how to really nurture, right? And so this is the thing right here that it's time for us men to learn how to adopt, because I'm telling you, man, this is straight up on the other side. God is saying things gonna happen. He just not giving us a date, what time and what day it's gonna happen. Right. But it's gonna happen. And the sad part about that is that when you think about it, when we hit September and they talk about a hurricane is coming, guess what we do? We go to Walmart and we get batteries, we get water, flashlight. We start using, and we start changing our voice, and we start saying stuff like hunker down and stuff like that. We do everything just because the weather guy say a hurricane is coming. But if God said the other side is coming, we got to prepare for it. And that's the thing right there. We're not preparing for it. We thinking, okay, he said it's coming, but I'm good, but you never know. You never know.
Right. It's kind of like, there's certain things that's going to come. It's inevitable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yep. Like, I always relish at looking at individuals having to put up GoFundMes to take care of their families and things like that. It's like, okay, you should have been able to talk to your people and be able to take care of them. Now, that's past generations. Like, I know my mom, my grandmother didn't want to talk about it. My mom really didn't want to talk about it. And I had to break that generational curse right here. You know what I mean? So everything in this particular house is straight on a financial standpoint. You know what I mean? But when it comes to the health, I just recently started going to the gym. I did. I recently started going to the gym because it's like, man, I can't be fat forever. You know what I mean? So I got to get down. I got to get down to a decent weight. You know what I mean? But you have to take it seriously. Ain't nobody else going to take you serious. You know what I mean? We go out and we be quick to gas up our cars because our cars need gas to run. What are we doing with our physical body? God only give us one. You know what I mean? We got to be able to take care of it to the best of our knowledge. That's it. You know what I mean? I was looking at, I just recently came across another pastor, and I can't think of his name. It just came the other day, but his sermons are like 6 years old, and they're still making the rounds on social media. Right. So I go looking for him, so I can support, and come to find out he passed away. He had collapsed. Wow. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is that I don't know what he was doing with his health or anything like that, but I don't want to be in that particular situation where because something that I could take care of, my weight. Right. And I don't want to sit up there and be like dropped because I done had an ulcer move or something like that, or an aneurysm or anything like that. But I got to take the responsibility and be like, listen, Leroy, I look myself in the mirror and be like, listen, dog, you was pushing that scale home, and you need to do something about yourself. Absolutely. I mean? Yes, sir. So now, as far as your book, you also do some some speaking engagements as well. And this is weird coming from a person that really hasn't had like a social media presence. You know what I mean? Oh yeah. So how is it? I get it a lot. Right. It's like, I was like talking to Osric. I was like, where FunnyBone at on Facebook, man? So I get it a lot. I get it a lot, man. I get it a lot. Honestly, man. I'm gonna share this to you. I remember I was looking at different commercials. Different car commercials. I'm looking at Lexus, and I'm looking at
Honda Accord and different kind of cars out there. And so then I said, man, it's crazy because I never seen a Bentley commercial.
Yep.
So I actually went deep, and I had went online, and I questioned it to a point of how come Bentley don't have commercials? And the answer was powerful. And it was like, when you're valuable, people already know who you are. You ain't got to find them. They'll find you.
Hello. Okay.
So no disrespect to people who got 1,000 likes on Facebook and different things like that, but I feel I don't have to over promote myself, man. You know who I am. And so that's the way I did it. And by doing that, I've been booked, man. And, I've been able to help others such as yourself and others out there because of the simple fight. I believe I'm like a Bentley. I know my value. I don't have to over talk myself. I don't have to brag on me. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Bentley don't have to tell you who Bentley is. Rick Ross already told you. Mm-hmm. Steve Harvey them already told you who Bentley is. Bentley don't have to have a December to remember because you already remember that Bentley when you saw it pass you. So the thing of it is that I don't have to do all that. And that's how I became to make this brand FunnyBone, because everybody who know me knows I don't even know how to log on Facebook. How you do that? I can't do it. So the thing of it is that I just did that to myself to a point of I just trust and believe that I'm going to do this thing to a point that when you anointed, you ain't got to find people. God makes sure they find you. And by doing that, I was able to 90 shows a year was able to find me. And then on top of that, it was running over so much, I was passing it over to other comics, and I have comics right now, I can tell you, man, Bone sent me this, there, and the other, and I was doing that by not even overdoing myself. I don't brag about where I travel at. The people who know, the ones who need to know. I always keep it like that. I don't believe in crushing other people's spirit. That's one thing I don't do as a comic, man. That's one thing I don't do as a man. I don't crush people's spirit, because at the same time, you got to understand something. Yeah, I may be celebrating, but I could be hurting somebody also. Right. So at the same time, I just put that plan together. I said that I'm gonna go out there like that Bentley, and I'm gonna let my light shine, not my mouth, and that's how I did it.
All right. And I'll be like, I just say I got a TikTok, so I'm not at Bentley status yet, so I'm working on it. You know what I mean? And it's funny because I did a TikTok where I was rapping like Bone Thugs and Harmony, right? Uh-huh. And every time I hear the word bone, it's like, okay, well, you had crazy, lazy, and then I was like, I'm Big Bone because I'm big, right? Right. I was like, okay, well, we got a new bone in the house, y'all. Right. We got Bentley Bone, right?
No, but everybody got their own style, how they choose to do it or whatnot. But one thing I tell anybody in entertainment is that your gift gets you a job, but your character help you keep it. Okay. So no matter how gifted you think you are, man, if you can't treat folk right, man, you ain't gonna have that for long. Okay. And the thing of it is, man, you can be gifted as all outdoors, but if you got a bad character, you ain't gonna spread. And that's real talk. And I don't think I'm the funniest in this thing. I just think I got real good character. You know what I'm saying? I know how to treat people. And by treating people, they're going to bring you back, because you can do a slamming good job on stage and have a terrible character. That'll probably be your last time performing there. But you can have a subpar stage performance, but an awesome character, they're going to probably bring you back. Okay. And that's one thing that I made sure I worked on with my craft. I had to line my character up with my gift. And a lot of people that's inside the business of even running their own business, you have to line your character up with your gift. And we're not doing that. We're pushing our gift and thinking I'm funny, I can sing or whatever, I can make cakes or all this stuff here. No, but you have to still have character to go along with it. You still have to be able to meet people where they at. And these are things, I'm not going to say a name. I got somebody who I was trying to train. And so I called them. I said, hey, I was thinking about you doing a show. And he said, yeah, I do it, but you need to talk to my secretary. I said, bro, first of all, you don't even do shows. So how you get a secretary? You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's the thing, we have to be touchable. Mm-hmm. Have to be touchable. And that was it, man, to really line my character up with my gift. And once I did that, once I outlined my character, my gift, it was game, set, match. Because I knew right then that, okay, now my character is getting it. Because character is pretty much like bread. Your gift is like meat. Don't matter how good that meat is. If that bread's stale, that's a nasty sandwich.
Agreed.
And that's real.
Yeah.
So no matter how well you think you gifted, that character is like bread. If that bread is stale, that's a messed up sandwich. I don't care what kind of, it could be a steak. It doesn't matter. If that bread ain't on point, it's a done deal. And that's the truth.
Oh, that's right. You're absolutely right. Bone is dropping gems. He giving it to us today, unfiltered. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it because I always say I wanted to talk to individuals who'd been in the business ahead of me,
right.
So that way I don't make any mistakes when I move forward.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
This podcast came on because of a vision of another comedian that I'm fond of, and I was like, okay, if he can do it, then I don't see why I can't do it.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And my thing is like, as long as you rock with me, I rock with you. I have no issues
Absolutely.
with that. And everybody who has been in contact with me can tell, okay, well, Leroy, he's a cool brother. He's the same way he is in front of you as he is behind you.
True.
So
that.
I think I got my working. I mean, I got my character flaws or whatever. Everybody ain't 100, you know what I mean? But when it comes to being in the eyes of other people, you know what I mean? I would think that people would think highly of me when they see me.
That's what it's about. Yeah.
So now, as far as our upcoming show from the I'm getting tongue tied. Hold on, because I'm getting excited. Let me get my words again.
It's all right.
Get my words again. When I get a little excited. Okay, so we have April 16th of this year. We have the Getaway comedy show that's put on by the FunnyBone Experience.
Right.
Now, all of these comics, including myself, was handpicked.
Right.
That consists of Leroy, Big Chip, Lady AJ, and AJ.
Absolutely.
You know, so, and I've been handing out the flyers, right?
Yeah.
So everybody think that Big Chip is my brother. And they be like, okay, so you got 2 AJs and 2 of yous? I was like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So how's the lineup going to be looking when we hit the stage? What can the people expect?
Oh man, I mean, obviously all of you guys bring y'all own little, y'all own little jazz with, what y'all do on the stage. Obviously, with yourself, I call you the George Foreman of comedy because I look how you jokes, man. You got a joke, man, that I still laugh at about the about your wife was sleeping and she dreamed about you. And then she got ticked off at you, man. I mean, so you it's funny, Doc. It's funny, but with you, of course, Lady AJ, that's my girl. I actually met Lady AJ when she first got started, man, and we was actually out of town. So her, Big Chip been doing this thing for a while as well. He's like my little bro in the game. AJ, he's a seasoned vet, so AJ gonna bring it as well. Hosted by Mr. Charlie, man. Now, Mr. Charlie been my host for a while. He's a prop comic. One thing about Mr. Charlie know his lane now. He said, I ain't a comedian now. I ain't gonna tell him, but he's a good prop comic. And then my main man on the ones and twos, DJ King Ron, man, he actually been rocking with me ever since I got started. And he actually became a friend to a real close friend of mine, man, because how he came to me was real different than what anybody came to me in working with me. And ever since then, man, we've been tight. So it's gonna be a good night, man. You talking about a packed house, man. It's funny because everybody, I feel gonna bring it, but you'll be surprised on how many people just want to hear clean comedy. Just want to hear cussing, no cussing, none of that stuff. They're just good, clean comedy. And, we going to bring it. And of course, I'm going to close it out, Doc. I was telling your wife, man, I'm going to come on stage just swinging. So I'm all ready for it. So, and then seeing you guys to me perform, I mean, to me, that's what it's about.
The first time I did your show, it was a couple of years back.
Yeah.
And, when you see somebody who just likes to see other people do what you do,
right?
You know what I mean? I know. Have you ever seen? And it's crazy. I'm bringing this up. It's a movie, Minister Society. Remember that? And in Minister Society, Kane was doing the narrative, and it was like MC8 he had done so much that he just enjoyed the other people doing that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's
so
what it's about.
Like, is that like you and that essence?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like,
I mean, it's a real good feeling, man. Honestly, I don't know where the feeling came from, but I actually, everybody who really know me, I really get excited off seeing you guys do good stuff. You know what I'm saying? I do, because I believe honestly I can destroy everybody. That's just me just being confident who I am. But I don't get hyped off that. I get hyped off seeing everybody who I was actually able to help. You know what I'm saying? I get hyped off that. I get hyped off passing shows around and things like that. I just get excited off that because, again, I know my value. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you talk to any person that say they're a leader and you look on their wall and all they got is pictures of themselves, that's not really a good leader. Because any good leader got pictures of everybody who they helped.
Facts.
Because that tells about the leader. So that's how I am. That's how Bone is, man. I mean, I'm not finna tell you where I travel at and things like that. Only time people really know if they like actually in that particular show, the church says something about me or whatever. But nah, I just like bragging on people. I let the world brag on me.
All right. Well, listen, I'm not going to hold you too long. This has been
man, you all good,
an eventful. I'm just excited that you came through, man. I'm starting to mumble, and my wife and when I get to mumbling, it's it.
No, man, it's all good. It's all good, man.
Deal.
Yes, it's good.
For all of the people that's watching and that's going to be watching when they pull this back up, how is it that if they wanted to get in contact with you to put you on a show, get you on the show, how can they get in contact?
Absolutely. My website is funnyboneharris.net. That's funnyboneharris.net. When you go on the website, it's a sign on there that say booking. You hit booking and you go ahead and put your information in and what have you, and the website will contact me, and then I will contact you personally. And that's one other thing I want to say to everybody inside the game, man. Quit having people talk to other people. Let people talk to you. They want to talk to you. Let them talk to you. Be touchable. And again, that was a way how I was able to really get shows booked because of I was able to talk to them directly. I didn't have them talk to my auntie, my uncle, or somebody like that. They talked to me. So, and by them talking to you, man, you will be surprised on how many people are being awe just to say, okay, let me book Leroy. And then you call, hey, this is Leroy. Oh, really? I was thinking somebody else. How you doing? And all that. And, and now you can feel them. You know what I'm saying? You can see what their budget is about or whatever. All these different things. But if they talk to somebody else, they can't really get that feeling. You know what I'm saying? So I tell everybody, urge everybody, y'all, we ain't that big, y'all. Let's be honest about it. Let people touch you. That's all. That's it right there. Let them touch you. Let them touch you and let them talk to you. And that's how I've been doing it for the longest, man. And I will keep doing it that way. And I will keep pouring myself in others. Again, duplicate yourself. Help others. Help others. Pour into people. If you don't pour into people, that means you full of yourself.
All right, that need to put that on the shirt. There we go. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So this question came up like right now since we kind of this is not in reference to what was in the chat. Thank you, Sharonda. Yeah, he definitely helped you out because I've seen it. What I wanted to know though is with us coming up in the Comedy Zone, we know how structured the owner of the Comedy Zone was at that time. Right. But now that he is no longer there, it's kind of like, I never felt of some relief. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, well now I can still do that as well as do other shows that's in the city and things like that. Now I've never talked bad or down on the owner or anything like that. And you got to respect it because he was giving us something. You know what I mean? Absolutely. But now that it seems like it's opened up now, do you feel like the animosity amongst other comics of being a certain type of comic or doing comedy somewhere have diminished?
I think I'm going to have to say probably in a sense, because I actually got started at the Zone. Mm-hmm. But at that time, when it was time for me to branch off, it was as to a point that they felt that you was taking away business from the Zone. So when I branched out, it was like, it's kind of hard to really come back. So I think it makes us comics who've been from the Zone and different other places kind of make us just stay our own way. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna have to probably side with, I mean, I would love for everything to get back together. I know they got new ownership there, right?
Yeah.
And so I haven't had a chance to speak to him. It's a man, right?
It was a group that bought the entire.
Oh,
hotel.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh, man.
But
So
the young lady there, Leah, she used to be the bartender there, but she's the manager of the zone now.
Really?
So she's cool. And when I was there, she was
Really?
definitely outstanding. Yeah.
really, really, really. And of course, when I was there with Fred, the highest you can basically really get is the house MC.
Right.
When you know that, God called you for greater heights. I mean, come on, man.
Right.
You're going to get me to put all these names on my resume, which is fine. I mean, I was able to open up for a lot of big names.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, I'm that Bentley. I'm that Bentley doc. I mean, it is what it is. I'm that Bentley. And one thing else I'm going to tell everybody, this right here. It doesn't matter how many people come see you, it's who see you.
Right.
And that's all that really matters. You can't really go in numbers. You can't go to quantity. You go in quality. Because you can do 100 shows and make nothing, but you can do 10 and make $100,000. So
that is true. Absolutely.
So don't allow numbers to fool you. Trust me. I know what everybody doing out there. So your number of shows don't really too much excite me. Is what you putting in, because everybody don't have to know you. It's enough people that know you, and that's all that really matters. Because when you overdo yourself, then that's when people feel that you won't have anything to offer.
Understood. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I definitely want to thank you all for tuning into the Signal 27 show in the community. Always be sure to like, comment, and share the video so that way people can know what we got going on in the city. Big props out to FunnyBone for coming through and giving us some insight on his story, his personal story, as far as getting into comedy, what's going on in his own personal home. I mean, wouldn't be comfortable sharing that. But I commend you for at least providing that information to brothers like myself who don't understand what's going on, but giving me some insight to listen. You might want to go ahead and start preparing yourself. You prepare yourself for everything else. Right. Prepare yourself for the possibility of something happening with your significant other. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I definitely appreciate that knowledge. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we got to be men. We got to stand up and make sure that the plate, like what's the name say, pass that collection plate. We got to make sure we got our ducks in a row. You know what I mean? So Jacksonville, I definitely want to thank you all for tuning in to the Signal 27 show. We are the city's #1 live comedy podcast, but we are in the community this week. And make sure that you continue to watch us and share us and continue to support. Also, we put in the chat FunnyBone's contact information if you want to book them. It's www.funnyboneharris.net. Y'all make sure that y'all go there and pass the word. You want to book my brother, make sure that you go ahead and go there and he'll get in contact with you directly. That's exactly what he said.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what it's about.
And make sure that you continue to support the show. We got our webpage at www.thesignal27show. Make sure that you go ahead and purchase T-shirts and take pictures of it and send it over to us so that way we can go ahead and put you on our webpage and make sure that you are one of our continued supporters. Thank you all for your continued support, and y'all have yourself a good evening.
Tenfold.
Yes.
So,